Yo, this is a game that I was playing with Salad and Vintage. Um, and when we were in VC, I very quickly said to Hunter, like I was saying, "Hey, stay here. This is us." And I said, "This is what's called a 3-2 split." So as you can see, there's three people here, and there's two people at this off angle. So splits are a very common idea in organized play, and are extremely powerful. So you can see that we have three people on this group and then two people on the flank, right? And the flank doesn't really matter, but the main point is that let's make cart pink, right? So let's say cart gets to here, okay? Very common spot that you hold on Junkertown. The point is that you have a lot of fires. You have big fire here coming down from this angle. So they can't take space from here because all of the pressure coming from here. Then when Sigma, who's here, tries to walk, the two that are split drop behind and kill them. So just looking at it from above, it's a very simple concept. And 3-2 splits, and there's also 4-1 splits, which we can talk about, and 2-2-1 splits. 3-2 is very simple. The two, who you want to be the two, is usually a DPS and a support. Specifically, your flex support, like Kiriko, and your flex DPS, like a Tracer. The reason for this is because you're the ones that are deep in the flank, and you need to be extremely mobile because you are the weakest point. So the enemy can just push you out. If they don't push you out, however, you get a ton of value. So let's see how this goes out. I'm going to leave this on the screen. And we actually hold here for a while. So look, Vendetta sees the two of us over here, dives us, but we just shit on her. What are you going to do about Cass Kiri sitting on the flank, right? And now I'm trying to tell Hunter to not be a bitch, right? Because, look, we have this advantage, and because we're at this flank, just like I said, we can drop, push, and now look how Salad dropped pushing this Sig, Cass dropped pushing this Sig, and Sig is just dead. Sig can't go anywhere. Right? So he's going to die, and now we drop and push, and now we're going to get set up for this next fight. Right? And we could literally just do the exact same thing. Look, you can see me looking at Hunter saying, Hunter, get your ass over here. Right? And it's a very, very difficult problem for them to solve. Right? So look, now Vendetta completely gave up. Vendetta's not trying to go on us. But now Zen's dead, right? Because the Vendetta, they didn't, because they tried to LOS us, Mei and Illari are on the bottom. Sig's trying to go high ground. Vendetta just gave up. We can easily get this kill, but now we gotta go quick. Huge ult from the flank. Now, something changed, okay? So look, cart is exactly where I said it would. Cart's exactly where I said it would be, and people are still exactly where they said it would be. Now we change to what's called a 4-1 split. So now you can see we have Czar, we have Soldier, Kiri, that's not us, and Juno. I don't know what the fuck our Juno's doing. I'm gonna be honest. But the point of a 4-1 split is usually you do this with Tracer or Genji or Sombra, but this person can appear from wherever. And because we now have two supports, Salad can now walk and be super aggressive, right? So Salad is just going to walk right here because he has all of the support in the world. Right? Now, look, I changed it again. Now we're back to the 3-2 split. Actually, we're doing a 2-2-1 right now because Juno doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. But we're back to the 3-2 split because I saw that Salad was healthy and Vintage needed help, so I came over here. Okay? So why am I pointing out where I'm positioning? I'm not glazing myself, I promise. The point of me pointing out myself is because where this support is, where your flex support is, determines how you are going to play and take fights. So notice how the last fight, we very much just kind of sat here until we had an overwhelming advantage. Watch what Salad does. Salad can't really do anything this fight, right? But he can sit here and they just can't push forward, right? But the point is I'm stuffing them, and it's so hard for them to do anything. And then ever so slowly, we're going to get more resources and eventually force a pick. Now that we have 2 picks, we can be super aggressive. Okay? This fight, I see, hey, I can't do anything on this off angle right now. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to Kitsune to give them the support. We're going to do a 4-1 split. Now notice how Vintage can't do anything, right? But he's still controlling this angle. So Salad and Soldier walk. Look how hard and aggressive Salad and Soldier are compared to last fight. They're just going to walk on this because we have all of the support in the world. Now that I see that they are healthy and fine, I can now rotate back and go down to the 3-2 split because I want this off angle to cut them off. Because what's going to happen when they walk, they're actually kind of cooked where they are, right? What's going to happen from here, they have to run back to their spawn, and Alari's probably going to come around this way. If I stayed, let's actually make them pink. Yeah, let's make them pink. So Sig is going to come over here, and Alari's going to come over here. Then, if Kiri was on this high ground, right? Do you see how the Sig and the Alari can just walk for free? And the Cass can't do anything because he's up on the high ground with no support. Me being over here doing the 4-1, so here's your 4 and here's your 1, okay? That's what lets us push and go to here. Now, I TP, I come over here, okay? I now make this a 2 and I make this a 3. And this is gone. Now, Cass and Kiri can be aggressive and drop. And I had to scream at Hunter to be aggressive to do this, by the way. But now, look how aggressive Cass can be, and we have completely cut them off, right? So now, that same angle where Alari wants to try to rotate back, and Sig wants to come over here and run away, they can't do that because Cass is over here completely cutting off that angle. So splits are super complicated, and I just wanted to give a short overview because I was in a game where me and Hunter did it really, really well. But a 3-2 split, let's just show you how we could do this over here as like a hypothetical. Okay. The way you could do a 3-2 split on first point is you'd probably have like your tank over here, right, with like a DPS up here, and then your main support is going to be like right here. Then you're going to have like your Tracer is going to be over here or something with your Kiri over here. So this is an example of a 3-2 split. I have my people here who can shoot this way. Then when the cart gets under this bridge where you always fight, cart's under there, we can now have these people drop this way, these people come this way, and I can pinch them. The goal with the split is to pinch. I want to pinch from 2 sides at the same time. It is very important in terms of comms to tell the team where your Kiri is. And this is why Kiri's played so much at the pro level. You saw how in one fight I swapped between a 3-2 and a 4-1 split multiple times. Started at 3-2, TP Kitsune 4-1, TP back to the cast for a 3-2 split. It's very important to communicate it because while I'm with the Tracer can be very aggressive because we have 2 people, and the tank has to be a little passive, right? But if you are not with them, you have to be much, much more passive. So I'm going to jump forwards to... Ready for battle. What? I jumped too far forwards. Let's see if I can find a spot where I did it, because I did split from Hunter on 3rd point. Yep. So you can see I'm still kind of doing this 3-2 split because I'm watching Vintage, but I'm trying to walk, right? I'm trying to close the distance and get to this high ground. I am calming to Hunter, I'm not with you. I'm not with you. So this is a 4-1 split, kind of, right? Our supports are actually really far back. And I'm actually going to change this and do a 2-2-1. I don't know what the fuck you're doing over there, Hunter. It works. Okay, well that was a clusterfuck. Let's find a better fight. So we're in a 2-2-1 right now, right? We have 2 people controlling high ground here, 1 person controlling this flank here, and then 2 people that are back here, right? You could also kind of consider this a 4-1 split. It's kind of there's no strong definition. You could also consider it 4-1 just because there's 4 people on high ground. But again, look, the 1 is usually just a fast DPS, right? This soldier can run, so he can be over here, he can run back, he can come here, he can run up these stairs to this high ground here, right? When you have a fast DPS like that can reposition, that's when 4-1 splits are really good, right? But notice how Hunter knows that he can't do it, and Soldier knows that he has to run away because I am with Zarya right now. I'm not with my DPS. So from comms, just like when you're playing Zar Reaper, I hear Salad and Vintage doing this really well. They comm, do you have the bubble? If you're the DPS and you want to do something, go, Kiri, are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Right? Just knowing if I can do this or not. And the Kiri can say no. And Kiri, if you are with someone, like I'm with Salad right now, if I want to TP over to this soldier and go on this, I'm going to say, Zarya, you're alone, you're alone, you're alone, right? And I'm going to make sure that Zarya knows she needs to back, right? But again, if I'm here as Kiri, I'm kind of doing okay. And if I'm here, I'm still doing really okay because I can pressure them down main, right? If I pressure that Mei back, we might get the kill on that Vendetta. So it really comes up to the Kiri player to know what you're doing, and this is why Kiri is actually stupidly fucking difficult, especially once you get into organized play, is because you have to decide, are you coming here or are you coming here? But how you do splits completely revolves around what your flex support wants to do. And the flex support is the one that decides how you're splitting. So if y'all want to learn more about this, let me know, and I can go over it more in depth. I think it's really cool, and it's a very useful framework to think about how do I want to position as a team. So that's all I got for y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this, found it interesting. Anyways, peace.